How's it going, guys? It's Mr. Lone Wolf, and today I finally got round a finished Incommunicado, so we're going to start the Sunken map, which, yeah, I believe after Aftermath you had the choice between each of them. Following a recent earthquake, the river has flooded a massive mine spanning most of the region, leading to its partial collapse that has affected the surrounding area. You've been tasked with recovering expensive drilling equipment from the mines, as well as pumping water out from the cave system. I think it says to help restore the area. I had the choice. I've bought an Invictus Type A, basically the Hummer, so I decided to take that one for this map. Yeah, here's something like the opening scenes. Again, I'm not only I'd leave them in anyway, but it's kind of worth it to get a little sort of idea of what the map's like. There is a river running through it. It's not as flooded as I was worrying it was going to be, and I mean that in a good way. It's still a bit of an awkward map in a good way. Castle looks pretty good. Makes me want to play Age of Empires 2 or something, that does. I assume this is one of the flooded mines. In fact, you see, now I reckon that's the salt mine that I've not quite got to yet, but I've sort of unlocked and I can see it. So, Kelly's back. Survey operation, earthquake. Steel mill's going to be the first thing we're going to unlock. Well, steel pipes facility and then the steel beams facility. They are sort of separate, but not by much, and I think she just calls it the steel facility, as in like it counts as both. You can see the two markers I've got to go on. This is me tracing the edge of the map just to give you a rough idea of how big it is. That's what she said. It's kind of spawned as basically at the bottom, but I'd say, you know, like 2/3 over to the right of the map. I can't see where I'm going. Again, I've not watched anyone's videos or anything. I don't even know if I've seen a single second of Sunken footage. Gonna go to that one first, and again I can just kind of see there's a road sort of heading roughly that way, so we'll head that way. Yeah, the old Hummer. Put the all-wheel drive and diffs and that on. Again, the engine noise doesn't bother me, but I still think they've picked too much of a high pitch, high rev noise, especially in this game, and SnowRunner does similar, where it caps your revs anyway, so if you're going to force me to go slowish, you may as well, yeah, not make the engine sound like it's like I'm doing 120. Round those steel pipes, they'll not too important later, but you have to draw an AI route around them. So that's technically unlocked the steel pipes facility. Well, I've uncovered it, I should say. So there's my base, you can see, and I've got to head to the second one. I had a choice at this point. I could either turn around, essentially retrace my steps, go back to the beginning and follow like the road that looked like it was going off to the right. But obviously for the sake of exploring the map and all the rest of it, I was looking like down that channel, and I realised sort of now like, oh, there's a bit of a gouge out the map. Some kind of like industrial skip bin thing stuck in the gap. Like, I'll probably, my tyres would fall in that and I'll get stuck. Thankfully there's a concrete sort of slab tipped over there. And I do believe the Land Rover would be able to do this as well. I think the Hummer's pretty cool. I also think that bowhead's pretty cool. But they're not essential. By the way, when I was here, I put low range on because if I didn't, in non-low range, it'd just wheel spin and that'd probably skid the nose of my vehicle over to the side. So at least low range, it bans the tyres from practically doing any wheel spin, and it had the grip to climb up there, which again, they've nailed that pretty well in this game. It doesn't feel like it makes the concept of grip and everything pointless. You can definitely get stuck and slip around and all the rest of it, but yeah, also vehicles actually feel like they do something, and you're not just constantly relying on firing out winches. As fun as that can be. Certainly, I'm not above it. I wouldn't say no if they brought them back in. So anyway, and then this is the steel beams facility, which again, they're sort of, it said search both of them in one hit, so it's kind of counting them as just a steel facility in general.
I have a whole menu of things for you to do. 1, connect the tunnel exit base to the steel pipes facility. 2, make some room at the port so we can get your gear shipped over. 3, replace the gas tank at the concrete plant. You can find a replacement at the gas station.
Right, so she just listed the 3 missions. It's typical, it's already pissing down with rain for me. Yeah, so I've got to clear out some containers and that in the way at the port. I'll get to that in a bit. There's moving a gas tank to another base. I'll get to that just after. And then this one is replacing the pipes. So I've discovered these two areas. I've got to replace, you see just north of where my Hummer is, that broken pipe. If you look in the top right, I have no supplies, but stage 1 of this mission is to get AI vehicles to drive to the steel pipes facility, which I believe officially unlocks that, so you can cash scrap in, build a pipe, go to the beams facility. Reason I just left this bit in, I did not draw the line like that. Yeah, I've got one of these Sunday drivers going on. Look, the next guy, they just completely overswerve it and crash into each other. Apart from that, though, the Voron trucks are actually pretty good as AI vehicles. They're grippy enough and they don't just get stuck like that other big lorry. But yeah, you can see once it was just 2 it set off to make it. It's not wasn't a long distance to go. She's basically saying, like, just explaining the second half again, you need to fix a pipe. But I also did an AI route to the steel beams facility. And again, I left a little bit in. My Hummer is basically behind that red building you can see in the distance. Randomly, but as I was now, just as he got real close to them, a lorry drove past my house, honking the horn like mad with orange lights flashing. I don't think it was at me, but I thought it was in the game for the first few seconds, and then just as I looked around, I saw their actual, like, flashing orange beacons going past, so that threw me off a bit. Yeah, I left this bit in. He clipped a rock, I was like, oh, for God's sake, flicked him right off track. This is why, though, I prefer these Vorons by a country mile over those other kind of crappy, more normal highway trucks that have got rear-wheel drive only. They actually have got, because they've got all-wheel drive and all the rest of it, and they're quite a short, compact vehicle, so turning corners, because I was worried about this bit as well, would it actually make this corner? But it does. I had to make it a bit of a tight turn, but we got there. Typical starts honking at me. I'm not even in the Hummer, but... and then, yeah, cashed them into, like, they reach their destination. So you can see I've got the second part of the mission, Ribbor, restore beam production. So I'm going to drive to the steel pipes facility. Well, on the way, I'm going to grab some scrap. Oh yeah, I was just turning on scroll across to resources. They might show up anyway, but I've just got a habit already of doing it. Like, I specifically scroll over to the resource section in the menu, so everything that in theory can be scrapped and all that flashes purple. And just to show you, look, when I set off from the garage 10 seconds ago, it was not bright sunny day, but it was not raining, it was sort of sunny, more like sun setting. In the 10-15 seconds or whatever it takes me to load some scrap up, it starts pissing down with rain. And I've seen someone in the comments say it's like watching an old CRT TV, and it doesn't bother me as much as I definitely imagine it does some people. It is a bit disappointing how much it rains in this game, because it's just such a better looking game when it's sunny. But not only that, you can see it really does start to, like... I'm sat pretty close to my monitor, and my vision's not terrible, but I believe if anything, I'm short-sighted. Some people might struggle to actually see what's going on. Like, that steel pipe blends into the background a lot more than it would if it was just a bright, non-pissing down the rain sunny day. I tried to ram these out of the way to help this guy. I didn't even realise he was behind me. Turns up like a dick right at the fucking worst moment. Starts honking, ramming me up the arse. That's what she said. Yeah, I'm just heading over though to the steel pipes facility. In the end, it was like abandoned mission. I rammed into those pipes, but they didn't really move a hell of a lot. And all that, what was it? 2 scrap steel pipes and 3 of those kind of mesh screen things, only just made over 1 good steel pipe. Cash that in. I'm going to go back the way I came, because the route I went with the Hummer, I seriously doubt I'll be able to... Not against this, but, you know, there's a little bit of a tight, fiddly kind of section to go around, so I was like, sod it, I'll go back. Part of the reason it was handy, I thought I'll just ram these pipes and kind of reset them to probably where they were originally, just so my AI vehicles will actually make it around. And another reason, just by pure chance, it stopped raining, and you can see how quick it kind of ends, really. And then the sun comes out, again, kind of more sunset than midday, but better than nothing. I mean, I don't dislike the rain, I just think the proportion of rain to sun, it's like 80% rain on this game, and then by the time you get a sunny moment, especially like I'm making videos, I like it quite bright anyway, I barely get to save a thumbnail or test one thing out in sun. And then yeah, it goes straight back to pissing down with rain or clouded over and all sorts. So they did say in the patch notes they'd reduce the amount it rains, but God knows what they had it set to before that, because I didn't really notice a difference in the amount of rain, if I'm honest, before and after the patch. It just seems to be pissing down the vast majority of the time. So this is going from, I suppose, my base really. I mean, I've left some of this in just to give you a rough idea of like how the map connects up so far. Obviously I've only uncovered like the first bit of the map. This is where the Voron hit that rock and his back end kind of flew round. And then I was going to turn the corner and I thought, hang on a minute, I couldn't quite remember what I was doing. I was like, oh yeah, fixing a steel pipe. The giant steel pipe. Ratchet strapped into my sideboard should have given me some kind of clue. But you can see, yeah, because this place has been like hit by an earthquake or a hurricane or both, there's massive chunks ripped out of the map, so it's definitely more tricky than Incommunicado, but I think that's in a good way. I don't want all the maps just to completely babysit me and hold my hand on. Not that Incommunicado does that really, it's just you can roughly tell on Incommunicado, like, oh, if I want to go here to here and I can see a road heading that way, I can probably go that way. This, obviously, even if in theory you could go that way, there's been an earthquake and all sorts, and it's ripped bigger gashes through the map, so yeah, you don't always, you kind of have to work around it in a way. The pipe rolled in my way, I had to move that out of the way, then I had to drive a little bit nearer. It sort of semi-repaired the steel beams facility. You saw it in the background, but you can still tell now the buildings are all a bit damaged, so it didn't fully do it. I've only reversed like 10 foot, grabbed a load of scrap, even though that barrel was kind of just about balancing on the edge. The ratchet straps have kind of officially counted it, the barrel isn't wobbling around or falling out. Drop that off here, 3 scrap steel beams, one of them mesh things in a barrel, that was only just over, well, say 1.5 steel beams. These are in the way. I can't pick them up with a crane, but I've got a feeling you might be able to go there with a bulldozer. Maybe not, but I just didn't get around to trying it at the minute, but I most likely will do in the future. So, my next mission is I've got to pick up a gas tank, a bit like on Incommunicado. I had a side mission to pick up a welding tank, similar thing really. Yeah, sort of driving over to the left of the map now, really. And then, yeah, I've got to pick it up from the gas station. That's what Kelly was saying earlier, that you can kind of borrow one from the gas station because they've got loads of them apparently. Wouldn't have really stopped me regardless, even if it was their only one. It's mine now. Yeah, here's another example though, like the map's obviously one part of it's almost dropped, so there's a big split down there. Yeah, that's what she said. I ended up getting stuck face first. I was actually able to reverse. I think I edit ahead at a point here, because I then tried a bit more to the right and face planted again, so yeah, reversed it back out. You can kind of see all my tyre tracks. At some point I'll go there and lay a bit of sand down.
This bridge has seen better days. If you feel up to it, you could fix it up. You're pretty handy when it comes to bridges. At least that's what I've been telling folks around
He
the
likes
office.
me.
And saying that makes me realize we really need better guidance.
Yeah, like, she basically says about you could fix this bridge. I assume it's the one I'm literally driving under, but as of now, no specific mission has popped up for me to fix it. But also, when I pan around and look, it doesn't, even if I could theoretically just draw my own bridge across there, it doesn't seem like that'd be the thing to do, because there's like a rail car hanging over, half the bridge has fell down. It just doesn't really make much sense, so I'm going to assume a later mission will pop up or something, which I'm not fussed anyway. So, got to the gas station, grabbed the tank, and it spawned a vehicle there, which I just drove past. I've got to take the tank to that right-hand marker, but that one with the white rectangle is where that new vehicle it spawned. It wants me to deliver it there, and it says, like, build in the river base or whatever, so it's already another base on the map, which is pretty cool, because Incommunicado ended up having at least 2 more garages than that you could build. But I didn't even get to build them. Like, one of them I admit I could have found if I'd looked right in the top left-hand corner of the Incommunicado map. The other one kind of unlocked right near the end when you build one of the radio towers. But yeah, I basically completed the game, completed the map just as I unlocked them, so it'll be useful most likely if I go on the map in the future and all sorts, but yeah, it was a little bit of a waste of unlocking them at that point. At least on this map, I've only done like a mission or two, and I've already got at least one other base unlocked. I can't even, off the top of my head, I've got mixed up now. I might have even found another base by now, sort of. But either way, I've got at least 2 bases so far, so I can't complain. Yeah, at least it unlocked them at a more sensible time.
Great. Now you can restart production at the concrete plant, which means we can recycle concrete slabs. Those will be a real help for repairs and bridges.
So that's what, like, she's just saying, once I do this, I unlock the concrete plant, and at that point, I've got the ability already to build steel beams, steel pipes, and concrete slabs. So that's most of my resources. I mean, in theory, there's already trees here, there, and everywhere, so I could already spawn a logging truck. And, yeah, so that's kind of my 4 main resources in the top right. I had it ahead here. It's just, I had to move an old tank out of the way. It blends into that thing, so I tried loading the good tank, and yeah, the crap one was blocking it. Got that moved out of the way, dropped that in place. Quick pause, not necessarily thumbnail, but I kind of know when that mission's ended and that when I'm looking through the footage. Yeah, next one, I mean, it's basically next to the concrete slabs facility at this point, so jump into this truck. It's basically a Mule 1, just kind of got, was it in SnowRun, it's called like a van body add-on or something. It looks more like that, like, I know you've not got it in this game, but sort of like service parts and all that. But yeah, it's basically just a Mule T1. My truck was just to the left. I'm driving through the concrete slabs factory. And I was looking at that gap in the concrete barrier thing, because I was going to go this way, and I was like, no. My brain, I've got to do it. See a big blue crane in the background. I've not had to use it yet, but I'm sure there'll be a mission in the future, but there's also a load of metal scrap there that you could use that to just throw it in a sideboard and cash it in. Yeah, this thing was able to climb up that little like gap in the fence, and yeah, establish a river base. I've also leveled up to level 9. Got me goddamn horse out. It's about time. Been like a whole hour without him. I just thought this bit was funny though. When I spawned the Loaf, it was pissing down with rain. And literally 5-10 seconds later, the game knew, like, don't ruin it with rain. We need to see the Loaf in full sunshine and glory. Get up on this ramp just in case they try and sneak a flood onto me. He's got the high ground. Yeah, he needed the extra height for a bit of view. So there's kind of a river at this point, which I can't tell specifically because there's clouds in the way. So the next thing is clear damaged containers, and when I was looking at the route, you've got this blue railway car that you can see is kind of blocking the way. But you see how it has yellow like coupling links on each end of the thing? Yellow things in this game tend to signify that you can winch to it and interact with it. So you've got fences sometimes in yards that are closed, but you can winch and pull the doors open and that, fences. So yeah, I've sort of shown you there the route I'm planning on going with my Loaf, and I'm hoping that because they're yellow either end and it's kind of blocking the road, that I'm able to winch to it or push it out of the way or whatever. And yeah, head towards this marker that it wants me to go and clear the way. Gets a little bit deep there, but he survived. I hope at some point soon they add the option to buy, preferably a Loaf. I mean, I wouldn't say no to a bit more speed and all that, but one thing I like about the Loafs, the same in SnowRunner, it's not the fastest vehicle, but it's more how the game gives you torque in this game. This Loaf has plenty of torque, so once you're flooring it, you feel like not only you're making progress, but you're sort of maintaining progress. One of the problems with that Mule T1 is even if you're up to speed, it feels like you could just run over a small stone and it kind of bleeds all your speed because it hasn't really got the torque that you'd hope, which is kind of the problem got solved in SnowRunner by just ramming it in high gear, which kind of gave just about every vehicle decent torque for whatever speed you're going and all the rest of it. It's a good job I was in the Loaf because I just drove over that big gap without even looking. Yeah, if they added a version of the Loaf just with a snorkel to the roof, just so you could go through slightly deeper water. I should have just reversed. I did like a bloody 18-point turn or something stupid. I don't know why. I should have just turned like over to the right, really. But thankfully, you can move this. I just thought while I'm at it, I kind of knew or gut feeling the answer, but I rammed it into the next train car just to double check you can't push all of them or anything, and you can't. But yeah, that blue one you can move. So I've made it to here, but there's a big cliff in the way, really, and at this point you can see to go round the cliff I'd have to go back down to that broken bridge and then I don't even know because of the clouds if I could drive up, but it looks like I can cut through here under that gantry crane thing, which is exactly what I did. And there's a little gap in the fence, and yeah, the road sort of roughly drops down a bit lower. I was fully willing and prepared to just jump off the cliff, worst case. If I couldn't see a route nearby, I would have just flew the Loaf off, because I'm willing to put money on it. He'd land good, or he'd be able to reach something to winch to and flick himself back. Or even without a winch, just sort of wiggles like a fish and rolls himself back. So yeah, there's a construction depot, so I can now also buy and sell resources and scrap that I find on the map, which is nice. Again, I can't help myself. I could have gone the normal way, but I was like, no, I'll drive through here. And under this concrete slab there, though, they've put a sneaky little, like, there's a yellow piece of metal that is just, you know, built into the map. You can't interact with it or anything. And that's what I was getting hooked on, not the slab. But anyway, out of principle. We took the awkward route, and as I'm turning around here, you can see the marker I've got to get to, but you can kind of tell it's saying clear the area around the port. There's cargo containers and stuff in the way. I believe there is another way I could have gone round to the left, but I was like, no, we'll push this. See, he looks like it's getting stuck, but again, wiggle like a little fish. He will find his way through that gap. So she's saying about trying a massive crane. Park me Loaf up, and you can see I've got like an area, a zone to clear. By the way, when I got here, it uncovered the cloud over here. I can now see 2 mines, and it more uncovered like the concrete plant and my river base and all the rest of it. So you can see the cargo containers I'm going to have to clear. You can see the crane in the background. And while I was doing it, I was kind of looking around thinking, well, this crane's on rails. So at first I told myself, shall I just see if I can nudge one of the containers? And I was like, oh, you can, and I'll see if I can nudge it into another one. And then, yeah, I was kind of telling myself, alright, that's enough. But then I also kept my finger on the L2 trigger and kept it moving. Out of curiosity, it was just like, yeah, the crane can easily push them out of the way. There doesn't appear to be any kind of lack of torque on the rails of the crane. Oh yeah, and it was hitting what I believe is like, it won't let me run further along those rails. It was like hitting a solid limit. I don't think it was the cargo containers stopping me. The reason why I would mention, though, you probably don't want to do that is because then I moved one container and it said objective complete, which sounds good. Brings up a cutscene. There's a boat bringing 4 containers that I believe got pumps or something in them. But you can see now, this is like a Zikz 605 arrived with like a heavy transport trailer. But that just splatted straight into the cargo containers that are still in the way, so if you want it to be a little bit cleaner, I probably wouldn't use the big crane to just ram into everything, and yeah, probably just clean them properly one by one. I did that, got that mission done, and then it wanted me to get these 4 cargo, or whatever, off the dock. And the reason, well, one, I wanted to switch to this anyway, because I was actually like, cool, I want to look, see what it's all about. Yeah, it already comes equipped with a trailer. Even when you look in the shop to buy it, it's already got a trailer and everything. I don't know if there'll be an option in the future for one without. Yeah, so this mission wants me to pick 4, again, I believe Kelly was saying, yeah, they're pump components from the barge and load them onto here. I wasn't sure at the time, though. I thought, I mean, I had to hit as important thumbnail situations. I've got to leave this one in as well, because I did like an animation one. I'm just trying out all the different ways I can add titles and all the rest of it. Yeah, I wasn't sure if it was going to want me to load them onto this, because it kind of a bit odd that 4 appear I've got to load, and it gives me a truck with a trailer big enough to fit all 4 on. But then when I've reversed over there, it just said, like, you know, they went red basically saying I'm in the way, so I was like, oh, well, I'll drive it back out of the way. Line it up with Loaf, quick look on the interior view. And then, yeah, the crane missions are fine. I'm not bored of them or anything. It's just, say it takes a minute or 2 to unload all 4. A minute or 2 is like prime video real estate at the minute. Can't afford to just let it have 2 full minutes. So, I'm going to get to these missions later, or say tomorrow. I've already done the missions. You can unlock a sand quarry, and you see on the map now, it wants me to build 2 roads, and then I'll draw an AI route from the port that I'm at now, down to this workshop. It's a bit of a wiggly long route, and again the roads are, yeah, there's two of them. They sort of build like double roads, but then they blend into one fat wide road when you finish doing them. And yeah, just quickly, I came over to the shop. There's the Zikz 605E, this one's called, instead of R. 25 grand though, that's actually cheaper than I thought, so I've already saved up over 200 grand again, like, I should be fine. It can hold 50 tons, and it's got a bed length of 10 meters, so pretty good, can easily get like a couple of vehicles on there. And then yeah, I just thought I'd scroll through, because I've actually leveled up a little bit and not properly looked at these or shown them in a video. I've got like 4 different versions of the dozer. One's got like a plough and one's a logging truck, but this one is actually a log grabbing truck, so that might come in handy at some point. Maybe you can just deforest a load of stuff and scoop 5 or 10 logs up with that in one hit. I've also unlocked this, the Don 72 Malamute. Again though, look, pretty fat tyres, 42 grand, so that's nearly twice as dear as that bloody Zikz. It's also, was the Hummer cost me 35 grand, so it's even dearer than that. And then we've got a log grabber, so it's not, yeah, it's not trimming trees, but what I thought was quite cool, you can see like the jagged bits of metal on the other side. Once you pick a log up, even if it's like off center, it should hit against that other piece of metal and you'll be able to load them easier without it like flopping around and trying to go vertical and all that. And then yeah, the rest of the vehicle, the reason I mentioned the money with the Hummer and that is, if you can't get the Hummer or the bowhead truck, you don't need to. I unlock a bigger sand dumper pretty soon in this game. I'll show you the footage tomorrow, so yeah, they're not needed or anything, and now I've unlocked that thing with massive wheels. I don't even need the Hummer, so yeah, that's about it for today though. Thanks for watching. Get yourself a loaf because he's a goddamn beast. Yeah, and I'll carry on with the videos tomorrow, and I'll be back soon.